Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me again today. My name is Nicolin and you have joined me here on Underneath Her Skin. So by now, hopefully, everyone who's watching have already watched my other video about my loss and my stillbirth experience. And so today, as a part of the series that I'm doing, I wanted to share with you how my daughters, who at that time was 3 and 4, responded to the news that their brother is not going to be coming home. So I started, well, with the pregnancy, I realized that my oldest daughter, who at that point was 4, was more attentive. She would rub my stomach. She would ask me if I'm okay. She to me would have more interactions and, just more experience with me being pregnant. And my then 3-year-old would just know that mommy's pregnant and she would ask me, how I'm doing. But I think my 4-year-old was a little bit more attentive. So when we found out that Elijah had passed, we had to figure out how to break the news to the girls. And we did slowly, and they were able to attend the funeral. So they were able to basically get some form of understanding to the best that they are able to know that, brother is no longer here. One of the things that it wasn't a concern, but more of an eye-opener to me and my husband, was just thinking about the way in which they responded to not having their brother home. I remembered we buried him fairly quickly after he passed, just a couple of days. So they didn't really get much time. And we ourselves were pretty much numb to what was going on. And we tried to just get everything together as best as possible, given the time and the situation. So what I realized is nights after that, I will hear my now 5-year-old. She would basically just start crying. And she would say, "Mommy, but why is he not here? Where is he? When is he coming back?" And her cry would trigger my youngest daughter, who's now 4, would trigger their cry. And they would start to cry. And I would just try to console them as best as possible and to let them know that, something happened, and because he wasn't well, that, he had to leave us, but he is with God and he's our angel. So my husband and I basically try to find different ways to encourage them and to let them know that, he is with God. And what we also notice is even after that, we will still get questions, which is completely normal, of why. And some of these questions are sporadic. They can be playing, they can be doing something else, and they would just out of nowhere, "Mommy, why is Elijah not here?" Or "Why did we have to go to his funeral?" And I would look to my husband because I was also grieving. My husband is grieving, yes, as well. But it was very hard for me to explain that process to them again. And I would say something quickly or have my husband just take over because I had to also check in with myself and my own emotions. Okay. So I remembered when my daughter, they're doing in-school instruction, and my youngest, Abrielle, she has her tablet, and I just went on it just to check to make sure that she's doing all the work that the teacher assigned and to make sure she's not missing any assignments. So there is this app on her tablet called Seesaw, and I basically just opened it up, just looking at some of the work that she's doing in class. And lo and behold, I found out that there was a small video, which I will insert, and this is what the video says.
That's me with baby Elijah and eating waffles.
So when I saw the video, I was very shocked because I didn't know that she was talking about him to this depth, where it's outside of the home. She's talking to other people about him, and I just didn't know. As you guys saw in the video, it is where she is saying she's having waffles with her brother, and it's a breakfast time. And this just shows that she has incorporated him into her life and she made room for him. I remember also just randomly, she would be playing and I just hear her call his name. And this is my 4-year-old, Abrielle. She would just call his name. And I fully didn't understand it, but I assumed that this is just her way of grieving. And this is the process. And for my 5-year-old, who would sometimes say to her, but Abrielle, Elijah is not here, and I said, it's okay, baby. She can talk about him and she can pretend to play with him. That's okay. That's her way of dealing with it. And it was fine. So to date, even the day that I'm making this video, she mentioned just 2 days ago, she was playing with her, by her piano. And she was talking, saying, calling his name, Elijah, and saying, I'm playing with my brother. And I don't question her. I don't correct her. I let her have her time. I let her have her moment, because this is how she processes and right now. And this is how she's dealing with the fact that he is not here. And I believe to her, he is very much here in the way she understands him to be. And I believe that playing with him or incorporating him in how she goes about her day, whenever she's at school, she even tells her teacher she has a brother. She tells, so she is making it known that she has a brother. And I definitely commend her for that, because I too want the world to know that I had a son. So I can connect with her and relate to her on that level. I want to make sure that he is very much a part of our lives. So as I basically watched how they talked about him, mainly Abrielle, how she talked about him and incorporated him, I also wanted to know what's the normal process for grieving in children. So I looked to, I'm going to be reading from something from the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. They made an article about grief and children in June of 2018. And I'm just going to read quickly what they say, because someone who may be going through this, maybe your children or your child is expressing things differently, and maybe this is an article that can actually help you in identifying what's quote unquote normal and what may be something to really think about. So it says, when a family member dies, children react differently from adults, rightfully so. Preschool children usually see death as temporary and reversible. And when I read this, it kind of solidified what my daughter was doing, because to her, he's very much present. He's here, and there were some times at night when we're putting them to bed and I would hear her like whisper something and I would wonder, what did you say, Brie? Because I wanted to hear if she's going to say, I'm talking, or, something, but she hasn't done that in a long time. But that happened a few times in the beginning, and I'm not sure if it was her way of chit-chatting with him or what, but I did see that as well. They said it's, because sometimes in cartoons, I'm going back to the article from the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. So it says children between 5 and 9 begin to think more like adults about death. Now, my daughters at that time were 4 and 3, so they're not in that state as yet. So it says adding to a child's shock and confusion at the death of a brother or sister or parent is the unavailability of the other family members who may be so shaken by grief that they are not able to cope with the normal responsibilities. And I would tell you that thankfully, we were able to have family members here who stood with us for several days to help us process and to help us basically keep that baseline of normalcy in the home, of the momentum. So their cousins were here, so they had somebody to play with to kind of help, take their mind off of what they were experiencing and why they were seeing such a big gathering for Elijah, who wasn't here. Some of the things that I want to emphasize here is it says children who are having serious problems with grief and loss may show one or more of these signs. And I'm going to go through it. And so that, if you are experiencing this is something that you can say, oh, I'm able to identify that because I've seen that or something of that sort. It says, sorry, an extended period of depression in which the child loses interest in daily activities or events. So generally speaking, if your child normally enjoys doing soccer or enjoys creative arts, drawing, singing, and you start seeing a reversion in the sense where they're no longer interested, and it's not that they're taking up something else, they just don't want to engage, then that can be a sign that you look out for because they may be depressed. Inability to sleep, loss of appetite, and prolonged fear of being alone. I think for several days after, we probably willingly, everybody just slept together in the same bed just so that we can all feel comfortable. And that was probably us kind of like holding on to them, that's probably more for us than the kids, but that is also something that can happen. Acting much younger than the extended period. Now, this is a term where, it's kind of like age regression. Like you would see, let's say, an adult who is now acting like a child, or sucking their thumb or going into like the childlike pose or fetal position, where you start seeing things like that happening, where if it's preschoolers or elementary or, higher up, their behaviors revert to an earlier stage or developmental stage in life. That can be a sign of grief, that they're grieving the loss of the person in their lives. Excessively imitating the dead person. That's kind of creepy, but believing they are talking to or seeing the deceased family member for an extended period of time. And I can't tell you what extended they're talking about here, but you may be able to judge how long that is considered normal, because everyone grieves differently. And sometimes talking as if you're talking to that person is a form of therapy for some, but how far along into that is normal. And again, I said everyone grieves differently, and we can't say to someone, oh, get over it. It's been long enough. I would never encourage that. But what I would encourage are things that are geared to help us to maintain positive mental health and just to be able to sustain and maintain life and go on with our day to day. So if a person is, for a long period of time, is believing they are talking or seeing the deceased family member, maybe help them to find different ways to, cope by, it could be developing a different kind of hobby. Someone can help them to explore different things, because sometimes when you're sad or depressed, your energy is not there to get up and do things. You're not in the mood, and you're very comfortable in the way in which you kind of start getting used to being. And so it may require some intervention where someone is talking with you and finding out what you enjoy doing prior to this happening, and to see if they can help you to get back into that and to get back into what is considered normal for you. Repeating statements of wanting to join the dead person. So if there's an over amount of expression about I want to be with this person, then you can know that these are, you know, problems and warning signs, because you don't know where that may lead. And sometimes you don't know a plan that a person have. So these are signs that you should definitely keep in mind. And again, withdrawal from friends, withdrawal from family, withdrawal from life, you know, are indicators of a depression, are indicators of like regression, and just wanting to feel like you want to be alone. And that can definitely lead to more chronic and acute situations where you may start developing ideations and different thoughts and feelings like that. You're dropping school performance, so and refusal to attend school. And like I said, those are what the article states. Like, if these signs persist, professional help may be needed. And a child and adolescent psychiatrist or other qualified mental health professionals can help the child accept the death and assist the others in helping the children through that mourning process. So like I said, I haven't really expressed or experienced any of these for my personal self. I haven't seen it with my daughters, but I do see where in the beginning, my then 3-year-old appeared to be talking to someone, and it was a few times, like maybe 3 times I've caught her. I do know that she does still talk about him, and I think that's okay. She doesn't do it every day or all the time, but I think it's okay. We all do wish that our loved ones are still with us, and we definitely would try our best to hold on to anything that we can of them. So again, please, thank you. My family has been through, you know, losses, and it's never easy for any of us. But I can tell you that we have gotten better in the healing process, and we are, you know, continuing to heal, continuing to work, the girls are continuing to go to school, and we just maintaining our lives as best as possible and finding positive ways to deal with our losses. So again, if anyone needs assistance, please email me at underneathherskin4@gmail.com, and I will be able to, as best as I can, lead you or guide you in a direction where you can get some support. Thank you again for coming with me on this journey, and if you'd like to share your story with me, please do let me know. I'm waiting for you. So thank you again. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel so you will not miss another video. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Have a great day.